So this is the Harbor Freight chainsaw chain grinder, and I've been gotten a little better at it. There's markings for 30 degrees, so you set it to 30 degrees one way to sharpen one set of teeth, and then you set it the other 30 degrees for the other set of teeth. Then pretty much you grip this, which clamps the chain, get her down, just take a little bit off. And there's adjusters here to back this up, so you kind of have to adjust that right, get it into the right spot. Then you advance to the next one oriented that way. You pull it back a little bit up to the stop, clamp it just gently, bring it down, take a little bit off. And I think it does a pretty good job. I mean, I might have to, you know, you're gonna have to do the rakers separate for something like this, but there we go. It's not too bad. All right. Anyway, sharpening chains. Sharpen the chain, we can put it all back together. So of course, you've got your bar. These are the oil holes that come in. You gotta make sure they're fairly clear. A little tap, blow the stuff out. Use your tools to clean it out if need be, because you want the oil to flow. There we go. Yeah, make sure there's nothing in the slots of your bar. That's just good practice. I mean, if you're well oiled and you run things well, then you should be fine. Yeah, make sure that your end is spinning nicely. That's cool. Cleaning off the edge. The oil comes in along here. That matches up to the bar, which has these little holes. There's a hole there, which would match up to there if I have it this way. And there's a hole there if I'd flip the bar over. So periodically you flip the bar over just to make sure things are okay. So then the chain goes on. I generally do it sort of this way, you know, get it over the tip. Make sure I'm doing it the right way. Make sure that yeah, the chain runs forward on the top and backwards on the bottom. Otherwise, you will not cut anything. The bar goes like that. And just to show you, these teeth, that's the cutting edge as opposed to that side. So it's going the right way. This turns that way. I sort of cleaned out the cover. Put our cover on. There is a screw here. So if I change chains, I can tighten or loosen the chain with this. I have to make sure the bar gets onto this pin. So there's a little pin in these bigger holes that help us tighten or loosen the chain up with that screw. So at this point we put our cover on. Just get it finger tight for now, just so that the cover is holding. Okay. And just, you know, tight enough so things are not just flapping in the breeze here. See how I'm barely, you know, using any torque. Just get it on there a little bit. There. So now it's not flapping in the breeze. I've got lots of slack here on the bottom. If you notice, things are wrong. This chain is not fully on. I can try and pull it this way, but that's not going to work. I actually have to loosen this puppy up. And it's just like unscrewing something. This helps loosen things up. I can probably get this back onto where it needs to with the bar. And then if it's aligned correctly, see these bottom prongs need to go into the bar just right. And if I do this right, and I turn off the brake, I can do it this way and have it so that it slides the right way as I am tightening. That's how it should look. And I want to tighten this just a little bit more, make sure we're not flapping in the breeze here and got a wrong torque setting or tightness on the chain. Looks like it's kind of loose here, eh? And so we tighten that up a little bit. Okay. Now, what is the proper tightness? You pull this out, and those triangles on the bottom there of the chain, if you're pulling kind of hard, it shouldn't pull out that far. It should pull out just so that it's barely exposed or right on the edge. So I have to tighten that. So we'll do a quarter turn. I test it. It's almost correct, so I'm just going to do a little bit more. Here we go. It's a little tight. A new chain can be just a hair tighter than an old chain, which is probably already stretched. But this can't be too tight. This will cause extra wear and tear on your roller and your gears. Let me see, right from the middle. That's good. That's good. Tighten that down. Make sure life is good. Okay. And that is installing a chain to be safe. Put the brake back on. Brake off, brake on. While we're at it, check our air cleaner. And if I have to move the choke down to do that. And that's here, and I can unsnap that and bang it out and get a new one if I need to. I just replaced it a little while ago, but every time you use it, yeah, you might have to use a screwdriver. There's so much stuff here. Very fine sawdust. Keep the carburetor blown out a little bit because you don't want to suck in too many particles there. Put this back on. Done. That's it. Saw chain's on. Saw chain was sharpened. Sharpened these other two chains. So I've got some spares. That's the right way to do things, people. Always have spares so that if you're in the middle of a cut and you dull it somehow, hit the ground, who knows what silly things, you have extras. Make sure you have your wedges, wedge your cuts. I use a come along to help pull trees in a particular direction, but I still use wedges. One time I used wedges alone and it worked fine, but I'm like, come along with a long rope on 20 feet up. Gives it a lot more sure fire way to get the tree down. So that's it. Chainsaw, 101. Yeah, respect them. Have your safety equipment. Bought myself a nice set of chaps. Been using them. It's no big deal. $100 and something is better than hitting the OR. I love my steel, love my chainsaw, and I love my little saw chain sharpener from Harbor Freight. $30, totally worth it. I just did 3 chains. Around here in Massachusetts, people charge up to $10 a chain for sharpening. Shoot, I've already sharpened 4 chains, made my money back easy. This is not the most robust thing. It does flap a little bit. It's not the most rigid, I should say, but you just push it in the same amount of force. It'll cut the same angle on the chain. You'll be in good shape. All right. Thanks for watching.